Welcome to the String Bar, everybody, and we're back with another review today talking about Yonex Poly Tour Spin G. Now, a ton of you guys requested this one, so super happy to finally bring you this review. Now, you'll remember that Polytour Pro was one of my favorite strings from last year. And Polytour Pro was a little bit confusing in sort of like where it sat in terms of who should be playing with this string. And Polytour Spin G is nothing like that. This is a strictly business string. They make it loud and clear on the package. It is maxed out in the hard plus category, and it is a durability string. This is a high performance string. But don't think that you could just throw this in your racket and just gonna magically solve everything. You're gonna have to work for this one. You're gonna have to swing to seriously unlock the true potential of this string. So let's just get right into the specs. So 3 things stick out with this string. Number 1 is the gigaspin structure. They're 5-sided with rounded corners. So you get a little bit best of both worlds. You get the 5 sides, so you get some bite and some grab, but the corners around it, they don't saw through each other as quickly. Number 2 is the SIF. That's the silicone oil infused technology. They actually infuse the monofilament core with like a silicone oil. Now, the reason they do that is because as the outer layer of the string wears and notches, it's gonna continuously release oil into the string as that string wears down. So it'll keep things sliding back and forth nice and good. And number 3 is the color. Color is orange, but it is a beautiful, fiery red kind of orange. I think it just looks really good in the racket with this color combination. Talking about the looks of it, look at this shine. It is a deep, wet look. It's probably the wettest, deepest kind of shine that I've ever seen out of a string. And today we are testing it in 16L. Now, ideally, I'd like it to be a 17 or higher, but I can understand. I think this is the thinnest gauge that they had, but I can understand on a string like this, it is a durability string, so you're gonna get a little more life out of it. Attention, we are going with 43 pounds on this in the Yonex AI98. Yeah, 43 pounds is a little bit low for a string like this, but you know me, I'm always trying to bring some comfort and some power out of these strings. So, and because the string is so stiff itself, it's gonna have its own stiffness to it. So like you're still, even at a lower tension, you're still gonna be able to get a nice firm bed from it without it being too floppy, you know? We're coming from a full bed of natural gut, so in the spectrum of strings, those are on completely opposite sides. Let's just see how it goes. So initial impressions, this string is dead. It has a very muted feel. Now, it kind of reminds me of Ultra Cable, but Ultra Cable was even more like a chunky, kind of heavier type of feeling string. This one feels a little bit more nimble, a little bit lighter, very different than Polytour Pro. It's not springy, it is not launchy. This is a low-powered string. For you Hyper G lovers, don't get these strings confused. Polytour Spin G, Hyper G. Hyper G is a way softer string and way more powerful string than Spin G. I haven't played with a low power string like this in a long time, so I noticed I was having a way too brushy kind of motion. My balls were just barely going over the net and dipping right in. So after initial kind of like, you know, a little break-in period, I'm loving this string. This is fun, this is great. But not everything was the best though. Just a few weeks ago, I went out to San Diego to visit some family, and I was out with friends, out in the nice sunny warm weather, hitting, and had a ton of fun. I thought I was hitting really good on the hard court. I was using some Luxilon 4G rough, which was a really nice string. So everything was going good, and I came back here and it's just cold, and we're going indoors and we're back on clay. I'm just spinning around everywhere, balls flying everywhere. I'm just off balance, slipping, sliding. I don't know what was going on. I think it was just a long holiday season and just kind of getting back out there, just being lazy with your footwork and your positioning. So I really had to clean that up as I was testing this string. My favorite thing about this string is that you could hit that cross-court forehand, that short cross-court forehand angle. You could hit it from the back of the court, you could hit it from the here, there, it didn't even matter. You could bend that ball around and where it dips in super short and brings them out wide. It's such a fun shot to hit. And like I couldn't hit that with a full bed of gut. I mean, it's just, there are special things you can do with a string like this. It feels like you can just swing faster and faster and faster, and the ball's not gonna go wrong. It's almost the opposite effect. The faster you swing, that ball is going back in. It's only when you don't swing and when you hesitate that ball might fly to the back fence. Volleys, I loved volleys on the string. I've been trying to come to the net more. And typically I do too much swing on volleys, so they usually fly way out. But I felt like I had way more control. Because this string is lower powered, you feel more confident at the net and that you're not gonna blow the volley long. The serve was the first time that I felt that kind of grabby feel. And you really felt like you could like work the ball around the box, and especially on the ad side, as you're I've been trying to work it out wider and wider. It almost seemed like the ball was going to go wide, and it just dips right and hooks right into that box. So it definitely had more of a plasticky type feel. And that's usually kind of like a negative thing in the string world. Now, I thought that the string had a little bit of character to it. It wasn't like completely lifeless. I felt pretty connected with the string bed. If it gets like too plasticky, maybe there's just a disconnect between you as the player and the response and the feel of that string. So control, I was expecting a little bit more control out of this string. However, at 43 pounds tension, you can still get a little bit away from you. Where I felt the control was good with bending those short cross-court forehand angles and with the serve and on the depth. Going down the line on the slice and on the forehand, which are my two favorite shots, it was getting away from me a little bit here and there. So I definitely had to watch that. So most of you guys probably, if you're gonna be using the string, you're probably not gonna be stringing at 43 pounds. A slightly stiffer racket could help a little bit more with the control. This setup right here is just kind of crazy. It is just flexy, bendy, low tension, but I love it just for the comfort. The string has a smaller sweet spot, and maybe that's just the lack of feel you get from it, but it definitely feels like you have to kind of hit it right in the center to get that like nice big ball coming off of it. But at the same time, it does feel like it grips it pretty good. Even when you sort of have an off-center hit, it feels like the ball doesn't quite make it down to the frame. It kind of stays there and does a pretty good job off of an off-center hit. One of the cons is that compared to a higher power string, you don't get as heavy a ball given the same racket head speed, okay? So the higher power string, you're gonna get a bigger bounce off of it. You're gonna get a little more spin, and it's gonna like catapult it and launch it a little bit more. Another con is that you're gonna have to work for the string, which now that I think about it, isn't a con at all. It's actually, I think, the best thing about this string. This string will take you out of your comfort zone, make and expose certain things of your game, For me, this string exposed my laziness and horrible footwork, To truly hit that fast swing is also about positioning and footwork and preparation. So guys, thank you for recommending this string. Let me know your thoughts on what you thought of Polytour Spin G and if you're gonna try it. If you've made a request, I have it. It is cataloged. I will eventually get to it, and I can't wait. So until the next one, guys, thank you for watching. Make sure to get out there and play some tennis. Peace.